concept we used in the video was the concept of chronemics, the polychromic and the monochromic. The monochromic approach was used by the German, characterized by time in blocks. Time is tangible and precise, punctuality and focused on schedules. On the opposite, there is the polychromic approach, which was used by the Mexican and the Italian guy in the video. They were doing different things at the same time. They are not really clock bound, and they have ad hoc planning. And as well, they came too late in the meeting. For attending an intercultural business meeting, it is vital to have a look at the cultural, the environmental, perceptual, social-cultural, and the social-cultural context of an organization, as well as verbal and non-verbal codes and intercultural relations. These all relate to the organizational culture, which often parallels with the country's culture. Cultural influence to assess when dealing with cultures across organizations. Organizations in large power distance cultures will be status conscious. Nou, dit moet echt even overnieuw. Ja? Ja. Will be status conscious. Oh, wacht. Just handshaking, but also the closed eyes of the Japanese during the meeting. Understanding the verbal and non-verbal codes of your foreign counterparts, that's an essential part of a successful business venture. Conversation. For example, the eye contact and head nodding of the American is linked to her for her to agreement.
In business meetings, so companies can train their staff in order to have successful results after international meetings. The message we wanted to get across is that we need to know the way in which people from other countries deal with business meetings and the way they respond to certain situations. It is relevant because some negotiations might be cancelled due to faults of the protocol. For example, the lateness of the Italian and the Mexican could be taken as a lack of respect to the other characters, and they could have left them out of the negotiation.
That you have to take into consideration when doing business. This way you can prevent a conflict to arise during the business meeting or a business conference. I believe that we reached this goal in this video as we show different scenarios that can occur in different types of meetings. So for example, the Japanese, as they hand out the cards and that it is to be perceived as respectful. Also the Italian, which is will arrive late, as well as the Mexican, which can be perceived as the other ones as very rude. So by explaining after each scenario, we could relate it to the different theories, and this way it is informative and that can be used for the target audience, which is business representatives. And this is why I believe that our goal has been reached.
During business meeting.
Oh, and also what we'd like to do differently is maybe to find out more about how exactly the German, Italian, Mexican, Japanese, and American act in meetings. Of course, we did a lot of research, but there's always room for improvement. Also, maybe we could have had more situations, not only business meetings, but also, for example, informal situations like dinners.
Was it a good example to use a business meeting as an example to show the different differential between the cultures of these 4 or 5 countries we used. Well, I think it was a good example to use a business meeting because after your studies, you're gonna work for a company or work for the government, and you're gonna meet a lot of foreigners. So whenever you're doing a business meeting, you gotta show them that you know their culture when doing business with it. For example, with a Japanese. Uh, while doing business with a Italian, you gotta know that they want to have a break, they want to take it easy, as well as a Mexican. And punctuality is really important with the German, and the American goes along with everybody. So I think using a business meeting was a good example to illustrate the differential between these countries, their culture. So I guess it was a good assignment.
In general, because I'm very interested in Asia and I want to live there in the future. So it was really good to find out how the meetings are there, how the meetings go there, and with the hierarchy and the bowing and the silence.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I learned a lot about our project as well, like the course itself called intercultural. And the good thing is like there's a lot of exchange students here at that school, so you see a lot of Asian people and you think like, why are you not talking? But after like
They can be so quiet.
they can be quiet.
Yes.
But after doing the our assignment, it's really
Gives a different
perspective. Like
Yeah.
we know why, because it takes more time to give an answer back from them.
And we use a more confrontational approach.
Yeah, and we saw the Italian and the Mexican how they're approaching, and they're more like talking with their hands and
Yeah.
touching and
Yeah.
really like this Mediterranean thing and this like Latin thing.
Yeah.
Which can sometimes be perceived as in certain culture like they don't like people.
Yeah, like
going too
like
much.
Asian
Yeah.
people like from Japan, for example, they don't like to be touched or they
Or,
don't like to give their hand, and there's like more hierarchy.
Hierarchy. And
Yeah.
also with
So-
the business card, you know that
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
like treat it as a person and
We have to take care.
Yeah, and I think we
business
really showed it how
And
like, the
really-
differences. And,
yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see that there are so many different cultures with each their own habits. So before you attend a business meeting, it's really good to read and to have some knowledge about another culture of the country that you're going to, because you can make a lot of mistakes. And yeah, and that's what you see in the video, of course, the mistakes that were made.
And also you can get the idea of stereotypes or like less now because now you understand the background of it, so you don't completely judge a person by he's Asian, so he's
Yeah.
really strict or whatever, but you understand it has to do a lot with their cultural background, or the Italians are, I don't know, weird, but they're quite friendly and very
Yeah.
open.
And also the fact, for example, the concept of punctuality, of the concept of time. Like in Mexico, in Latin cultures, is very well. It's not well seen, but it's accepted to be like 5 or 10 minutes late. It is not that problematic, and it's normally all the meetings end last more than they are meant to be. And in another international context, it is like very strict, and like the importance of time for people like Dutch people or American people, German people is like very strict and very important. The value of their time. Like in Mexico, we have a say like it's like the time is money. So
And also
Yeah,
regarding the
money is
coffee.
time.
Yeah.
You know, in America it's normal to bring coffee, and in certain like in certain culture you're not allowed to just walk around and do whatever you want. So there's a certain time specifically planned to have a dinner or lunch, and and I think in Latin America it's you can just get out.
Yeah.
and
And
get
the important
food.
thing of our project is as well like do research before you going into a meeting. So if you have a meeting with a Japanese, like Joshua said, like you mentioned, like do their
research,
habits and the research, like how do they react and respond. And I think we really showed that in a way. And
it was really fun to do as well because it gave us a impression how it really goes in a business meeting in a way. So it really helped us.
It was interesting to me to work on this topic because I have worked with a Chinese guy, for example, and it was really hard to work with it because we were totally focused in a different objective. And for example, in our first meeting, he was totally agree about all the ideas for the project, and after that, he sent me an email and he was disagree. And
you were like,
what's
what?
the problem with this guy? I don't
Yeah.
understand him.
Yeah.
And it was really hard. We lose a lot of time to be disagreeing and to try to understand each other. And after that, I have take time to think about what our work group doesn't work. And after that, we have find like compromises to continue to work, and now it's okay, but it take like 1 month to work together and to try to understand each other.
So to conclude, just read really good about the other culture, and that will save you a lot of time and money.
Time is money. Yeah, time is money, and money is time.
And I think this assignment and this class of intercultural communication will help us in the future because you will exchange student maybe, and me, I'm also exchange student like you, so it's really important for us to understand the other culture.
And it is also as a part of the conclusion, like to watch the non-verbal communication of each different country, like, from different cultures, because what as hand sign might mean to me is totally different for another person, you know. And the way, if you're laughing all the time, it might be
Perceived as
rude. You're making laugh,
Making fun of me.
So I think that is another very important thing you have to learn, and you have to research about the culture and hugging and stuff like that as well.
All right, that's it.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the video, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.